I went to see Obama. This is probably the best thing that's ever happened. And I was all excited. I was standing on the line. I got there way early, hours early before. And so I'm standing in the line outside of the White House. I was sitting there and I was talking to a young lady named Debbie from Detroit. Some other people were there, and they were from Washington, and they said, "Oh yes, the skinny is that there's going to be a very famous musician who's going to entertain us at this event." I said, "Oh, really? Very famous? Who could that be? Who does Obama know?" "Oh, well, he knows Blue Oyster Cult, and that's why he invited me. So he's probably going to have me play." You've heard of more cowbell. Well, this is Moe's Cowbell. Oh, geez, I haven't prepared anything. What am I gonna? I guess I'll do Reaper. I mean, that's the one that everybody wants to hear, right? Geez, I'm gonna have to play it on. I hope I don't have a guitar. Am I just gonna get up there and sing? Well, I can do that. I know I started going through all the lyrics, how I'm gonna sing. Maybe I'll take a pause before. There's two vocals and they kind of overlap. Maybe I'll just. Anyway, I was trying to figure out how I was gonna accomplish this feat. Also, I have to add that I brought some things for Obama. I brought a sweatshirt for Michelle, a school sweatshirt, a school hoodie for Michelle. So that was one of the things. I also included a cowbell because that's my riff. And then some Blue Coupe records, the two Blue Coupe records that we have, and also a Blue Oyster Cult record that I signed, and the cowbell I signed too. And also a little letter talking about him in high school and how he liked our band and how I'm a teacher now and I got invited to this thing and it's a great honor and all that stuff. I went through security. I turned in I thought I was going to give these things to Obama, but no, that was never going to happen. I had to give it to the Secret Service where they, put it through more machines and whatnot, and eventually he would get it. They swore up and down, he's going to get it, don't worry. Obama is going to get your stuff. I'm thinking, oh, well, if I'm going to hang out with Obama in the green room, then and maybe he'll invite me out to have a beer afterwards. I mean, I know he's busy, but maybe, I'm sure he relaxes sometime. I thought, well, geez, I have my return flight. It's at 6 o'clock. This is going to be tight because the ceremony doesn't start till 4. And so I'm going to have to jet out of there and go to the airport and get on the plane. I said, well, let me change my flight to tomorrow morning. You know what? Maybe I'll tell the president that I changed my flight and I don't have any place to stay. And maybe I can stay in the White House. I can sleep in a couch. I don't have to sleep upstairs. That's fine. I'm sure there's a couch there somewhere. Went through security, get inside. I see the stage, there's a guitar up there, an acoustic guitar. I said, good, great. There's also a piano. I was like, oh, well, there's no drums. So I'm like, oh, well, that's probably makes sense. He doesn't know what I play. He probably he's in Blue Oyster Cult, that's all he knows. So he figured a guitar and piano, he'd cover his bases, right? Then I go around, I'm looking at the couches and seeing, if there's a comfortable, how comfortable they are. So every room had a couch. There was a lot of different couches. I think I took some pictures of couches. I go around, I'm looking at the couches, I'm looking at all the, there was food there, but I couldn't eat. I was so excited about the whole thing. I just couldn't, there was alcohol. I was like, nah, forget about that. I definitely do not want to have any alcohol unless it's with the president and after the whole thing, because alcohol and lyrics, they don't go together for me. I cannot drink alcohol and remember the lyrics. I can make them up, that's no problem, but usually people want to hear the right lyrics when you're playing your hit song. So And so I ended up going and standing in front of the stage and thinking, oh, you know, they're gonna call me to go in the green room. I could see there was a green room over there and there was people in it. And I thought, oh, the president's probably over there hobnobbing with the people. But nobody came out to call me. And all of a sudden, I noticed that there's like hundreds of people behind me. So there's like 400 people in the ballroom. The perimeter of the room, there was risers with cameras all around the whole, cameras and lights and people with sound and all this other stuff. And it seemed like forever they were testing the mic and then they would go away, they would come back and test it some more, testing. After all of the sound checking and the check, some guy gets up on stage and he says, and now today's special guest. And he said somebody's name. It turned out it was the lead singer from a group called Fun. And he had his own solo band that they played. You know, tonight we are young. So they did that song. All the young teachers sang along with it. It was very moving. I thought it was cool. I was actually relieved that it wasn't me that had to do the entertaining the thing, because probably half of them never even heard Don't Fear the Reaper. Who knows? But, and it really was a party for all the other teachers, not for Obama. It was for them. So, 4 o'clock on the dot, Obama comes, he speaks, he gives a great speech. The essence of the speech was that the woman who was chosen National Teacher of the Year, who was from Connecticut, what she did was she worked in a very poor district with kids that really didn't have very much. A lot of them children of single parents. 5 of the children in her class had lost one of their parents. So they were all kind of like not really into school, not really into anything. They were kind of feeling depressed. And so she decided that she was going to start a charity drive where these students who have really not so much, very little, and are sort of heartbroken, that they would give, they would volunteer to raise money for other people who were even needier than them. And this turned into a fantastic thing where the kids got all into it. And Obama's message was, the greatest thing that you can do is to give, to be generous. When you give, when you volunteer, when you help somebody else out, it's a great feeling of power. You realize how powerful you are. And that's the greatest lesson that any teacher can give, is to help the students know how powerful they are by just their being. Obama gave his speech. He shook the hands of all the people on the stage. Then he came off script and he walked down into the audience. Of course, the Secret Service guys were starting to freak out. There was a whole swarm of them around him. And he went out in the audience. He started shaking people's hands. And he worked his way all the way over to where I was. And so I reached out to shake his hand. And all these girls pushed up and got in my way. So I couldn't shake his hand, but I did say, thank you, Mr. President, for all you've done for our country. And he said to me, no, thank you. Some girls behind me said, we love you, Mr. President. And I said, me too, I love you too. And he gave me a funny look, and then he was gone. And I had to change my flight back to back to 7 o'clock, the last flight of the night, back to LaGuardia and back to New York City, because I did not have a hotel. So that was my trip to Washington to see the president, and it was very cool. It was very inspiring, and I would have to say it was a highlight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Have a great week, and don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe.